Chapter 3: An Unexpected Ally. As Minju dug deeper, he began to notice that he wasn't the only one questioning the system. A few other idols, equally disillusioned with the industry, started to share their suspicions with him. Among them was Kang Sojin, a rising star from another popular group, Nova. Sojin was known for his outspoken personality, and he had long been a thorn in the side of his management. One night, after a joint concert, Sojin approached Minjun backstage. "Minjun, I need to talk to you," Sojin said, his voice low and urgent. "I know what you've been doing. I have been doing the same." Minju's heart skipped a beat. "What are you talking about?" Sojin glanced around to make sure that they were alone. "The organization, the people who control everything. I've been trying to figure out who they are and how they operate. I think we can work together to bring them down." Minjun was stunned. He had been so focused on his own investigation that he hadn't considered the possibility of allies within the industry. But now that Sojin has revealed himself, Minjun felt a glimmer of hope. "How do we do it?" Minjun asked. Sojin's eyes hardened. "We gather evidence, real undeniable proof of what they are doing, and then we expose it to the world. But we have to be careful. These people are dangerous and they won't hesitate to take us down if they catch wind of what we are planning." Minjun nodded. "I'm in, but we need more people on our side. We can't do this alone." Over the next few weeks, Minjun and Sojin quietly recruited others who shared their suspicions. They formed a small but determined group, meeting in secret to share information and plan their next moves. As they pieced together the puzzle, a clearer picture of the organization's operations began to emerge. The group discovered that the organization wasn't just controlling the K-pop industry, they were using it as a tool for something far more insidious. The music, the idols, the carefully crafted personas, all of it was designed to influence the public's thoughts and emotions, to manipulate them into accepting certain ideologies and beliefs. The idols themselves were pawns in a much larger game, used to distract and pacify the masses, while the organization pursued its own agenda. Those who resisted were ruthlessly eliminated, their careers and lives destroyed in the process. Minju's horror grew as he realized the full extent of the conspiracy. The industry he had once loved, the dream he had worked so hard to achieve, was built on a foundation of lies and manipulation. But now, armed with this knowledge, he was determined to fight back. Chapter 4: The Betrayal. As Minjun and his group gathered more evidence, they began to prepare for the day when they would finally expose the truth. But just as they were nearing their goal, disaster struck. One evening, while Minjun was returning to his apartment after a late-night rehearsal, he was ambushed by a group of men. They forced him into a black van and blindfolded him before driving off to an unknown location. When the blindfold was removed, Minjun found himself in a dimly lit room, tied to a chair. Standing in front of him was Mr. Han, his expression cold and unfeeling. "You have been very busy, Minjun," Mr. Han said, his voice filled with contempt. "Did you really think that you could outsmart us? We have known about your little group for some time now." Minjun's heart sank. He had been so careful, so sure that they were operating in secret. How had they been discovered? Mr. Han stepped closer, his eyes narrowing. "You should have stuck to singing and dancing, Minjun. The industry is built on control, and those who try to challenge that control end up like you, helpless and broken." Minjun struggled against his restraints, but they were too tight. He could feel the cold sweat forming on his forehead. "What are you going to do to me?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Mr. Han smiled, a cruel, twisted smile that sent chills down Minjun's spine. "We are not going to kill you, Minjun. That would be too easy. No, we are going to make an example out of you. We are going to destroy everything you care about, piece by piece, until there is nothing left." He snapped his finger, and one of the men who had adopted Minjun stepped forward, holding a tablet. The screen flickered to life, showing a live field of Sojin, badly beaten and tied to a chair, just like Minjun. "Let me introduce you to our mole," Mr. Han said, nodding towards the screen. Kang Sojin thought he could outsmart us, but it was never really on your side. It was working for us the whole time. Minju's heart sank. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. Sojin, the one person he thought he could trust, had betrayed him. His mind raced as he tried to make sense of it all, but the realization hit him like a ton of bricks. Everything they had done, all the evidence they had gathered, had been carefully monitored and manipulated by the organization. Mr. Han continued, relishing Minju's torment. We allowed you to think you were making a progress, feeding you just enough information to keep you going. But it was all a setup. You and your little group never stood a chance. Sojin's voice crackled through the speakers, his tone apologetic but resolute. I am sorry, Minjun. They had my family. I had no choice. Minju's chest tightened with anger and despair. He had been played from the beginning, and now the people he had cared about, the ones he had tried to protect, were suffering because of his naive belief that he could fight the system. Mr. Han leaned in close, his breath hot against Minju's face. You are going to disappear, Minjun. We will tell the world that you had a breakdown, that you couldn't handle the pressure. Your fan will mourn you, but soon enough, they will move on to the next big thing, and your little rebellion will be forgotten. The fear that has been simmering in Minju's mind erupted into full-blown terror. He had to do something, anything, to stop this from happening, but before he could think of a way out, Mr. Han snapped his fingers again, and one of the men injected something into Minju's arm. Within seconds, darkness swallowed him whole. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more chapters.